On this sacred day, the 1st of September 2025, a day marked in the heavens for divine encounter and revelation, the urgent message of Archangel Michael resounds through the unseen realms, calling forth every soul attuned to the voice of light to awaken and prepare for the night of divine shift. The calling of the child of light is not a whisper of chance but the clear summoning of eternity, beckoning hearts to rise beyond ordinary perception and recognize the sound of heaven's call echoing within the depths of the soul. Your innermost being knows this voice. It is the voice that has been guiding, nudging, and reminding you that the veil between worlds grows thinner with each passing moment, that the presence of heaven is leaning close, and that the divine invitation cannot be ignored. It is the very hour when the heavens draw near, not to condemn but to invite, not to burden but to empower, and not to confuse but to bring forth clarity. Within this cosmic unfolding, Archangel Michael steps forth with a plea that is both urgent and tender, a plea that vibrates with the gravity of the moment, as if the very breath of eternity is being carried into your home. His words are not simply instructions but echoes of divine authority wrapped in mercy, urging you not to cast aside this message as an optional thought or mystical suggestion but to understand its weight, for angels are even now being dispatched to shield, protect, and prepare for the revelation that will shake foundations and awaken slumbering hearts. As the shocking event approaches, the atmosphere within your very household becomes a temple of destiny, a ground chosen for revelation, and you are urged to understand that something monumental is poised to break forth tonight, something that will not be hidden or postponed but will burst forth with the precision of divine timing. The importance of readiness, therefore, cannot be overstated, for the opening of your heart is the gateway through which divine protection, wisdom, and clarity enter. To remain closed, distracted, or indifferent is to leave oneself vulnerable to the tide of unpreparedness, and unpreparedness in this hour will usher in unnecessary turmoil and confusion. Readiness, however, clothes the soul with peace and positions the heart to receive not as one overwhelmed but as one fortified and illuminated. Even now, signs and spiritual stirrings testify to what is unfolding: restless nights, unexplained tears, unusual dreams, sudden shifts in atmosphere, and the unease that cannot be rationalized away are not mere happenstance but the signals of heaven alerting you that the unseen world is stirring with activity. These are not random disturbances but holy alarms set off to awaken you before the hour of manifestation. For what is to be revealed will not only test your spiritual stamina but also offer you the opportunity for renewal. Yet even as heaven draws near, the battle over your household intensifies, for Michael's sword is unsheathed, warring in realms unseen, defending your home from the encroachment of spiritual attack. A war rages even now over your atmosphere, unseen yet deeply felt, a conflict not waged with earthly weapons but fought with divine strength to shield your space, for the enemy seeks to sow chaos, confusion, and despair, but heaven has already declared your home as a sanctuary destined for divine visitation. And in this battle, the promise of victory and protection shines like a banner of hope. Fear is but a shadow, powerless against the inheritance secured in divine promise. And though the shock may come as a breaking, its purpose is not destruction but revelation. What is hidden will be exposed, what has been bound will be unchained, and what was lost will be restored, for the divine guarantee is not merely to endure but to triumph with a testimony marked by heaven's seal. Yet this promise demands something of you. The role of faith and choice becomes the fulcrum upon which destiny pivots. Your response to the message, whether in faith or in dismissal, will determine your covering, for staying connected to divine guidance is not passive but an active alignment, strengthening your journey, protecting your steps, and positioning you to be sheltered under heaven's wings. When the nature of the shock unfolds, it will be startling but not annihilating. It will break illusions and strip away facades, surfacing hidden truths not to destroy but to liberate. What fractures in this hour will become the very cracks through which divine light pours, and though the break may leave a mark upon your life, it will not be a scar of ruin but a seal of transformation, a reminder that the moment of shaking was also the moment of unveiling divine reality. Your home, more than walls and roofs, is a spiritual altar, a dwelling place that has held your prayers, your tears, your secrets, your longings, and your sacred hopes, and now it becomes the stage upon which heaven reveals its presence. Tonight, your home will bear witness to heaven's visitation, and as the altar of your life is consecrated through this divine cleansing and sanctifying, the atmosphere will shift, and every corner will be infused with holy presence. This night's message is not a fleeting call but part of an ongoing divine conversation, a stream of daily miracles and guidance that do not cease but continue to flow like a river for those who remain attuned. Staying subscribed to this heavenly dialogue ensures you are kept within the sphere of protection, for to disconnect is to drift into vulnerability. Soon, the arrival of heaven's presence will be undeniable. The very air will thicken with unseen movement, the atmosphere will vibrate with holy energy, and Michael's presence will wrap you with peace and strength, tangible enough to still fear and awaken boldness. And once this night passes, you will emerge marked forever, for the aftermath of a divine encounter is never neutrality. After tonight, you will never again be the same. The testimony you carry will echo for a lifetime, a living memorial to heaven's arrival in your life. This is the urgency of the moment. Divine timing is perfect. You are not late, not misplaced, but exactly where you are meant to be for this unfolding. Distractions, however, lurk like thieves, the enemy's subtle tactic to misalign you, to pull your focus away, to make you miss your appointment with heaven, but you must anchor your heart, hold fast, and persevere. The encouragement to persevere is heaven's gentle but strong reminder that chosen ones do not walk away but remain steadfast, sealed by oil and fire, refusing to be swayed by storms, and walking in daily alignment with the divine light that guides step by step. This perseverance will lead to revelation, for the spiritual shift will uncover what was hidden in darkness, unveiling secrets, exposing lies, and dismantling strongholds once maintained by deception. Heavenly power will sweep through the unseen, turning the tables in favor of truth and illumination. Yet fear not, for this moment is not designed to crush but to call you to witness. You are being invited to behold how heaven transforms harm into glory, how terror is exchanged for triumph, and how fear is replaced by the radiant strength of clarity and divine courage. In this unveiling, your spirit will be deeply impacted, for you will feel the shaking within yet also the holy nearness that confirms heaven's involvement. Your home will become a consecrated battlefield turned sanctuary, a sacred habitation where divine presence lingers. And as this encounter ushers in breakthrough, the flow of miracles will not cease but continue, providing ongoing guidance, protection, and assurance that you walk under the covering of heaven's favor. Staying connected ensures that tonight's encounter is not an isolated spark but the beginning of an endless stream of divine communication, shaping, sustaining, and empowering your journey from this day forth, marking the 1st of September 2025 as the night of divine shift ordained by heaven and declared by Archangel Michael as the turning point of your life and household forevermore. As the night of September 1st, 2025 unfolds deeper, the divine orchestration continues, layering revelation upon revelation, drawing you into the full scope of heaven's plan as Archangel Michael's urgent message becomes not just a call but a lived reality within your spirit and home. The urgency you sense in your heart is not anxiety but alignment, a holy stirring that keeps reminding you that this is not ordinary time. This is divine appointment, a window opened in the heavens to release power, healing, and truth into your life. Every distraction that rises against you in this moment is nothing but the enemy's desperate attempt to detour your focus, to blind you to what is about to arrive, and to rob you of the inheritance waiting to be delivered. Yet heaven's encouragement stands firm. Persevere, press forward, do not let go, for the oil of divine presence is being poured over you like a seal to guard your heart and fortify your mind. Those chosen in this hour are not chosen because of perfection but because of perseverance, because they did not walk away when the shaking came but remained steadfast, holding on to divine light even when shadows tried to engulf them. And as you persevere, you position yourself for the great unveiling, the spiritual shift that reveals what human eyes could never perceive and what human logic could never explain. This is the moment when tears shed in hidden places become testimonies in the open, when the darkness that seemed impenetrable suddenly fractures under the brilliance of heavenly light, and when every lie, secret, and scheme of the adversary collapses under the sheer force of divine revelation. It is not merely exposure but dismantling. Strongholds are not just seen but broken, deceptions are not just uncovered but destroyed, and what the enemy sought to use for harm is redefined into a stage for glory. You, child of light, are called to witness this transformation firsthand, to behold with your own spirit how heaven rewrites harm into healing, fear into faith, weakness into strength, and despair into hope. This call to witness is not passive. It is an invitation to step into active faith, to stand unshaken as God's power turns what seemed like ruins into testimonies of restoration. Fear, though it knocks at the door, will find no resting place in you, for it is replaced by the clarity of divine truth and the courage born from knowing that heaven's armies encamp around those who align themselves with light. As this divine shift occurs, the impact on your spirit is profound, not superficial. You will feel the very vibration of heaven's nearness, a holy weight that both humbles and empowers, breaking down walls within and planting seeds of courage, purpose, and destiny. Your home will no longer be seen merely as a physical dwelling but as a consecrated sanctuary, a place marked by divine habitation where prayers rise like incense and heaven's presence lingers tangibly. The shaking you sense is not destruction but sanctification, transforming the atmosphere of your household into holy ground, a space set apart for divine purposes. And this transformation is not a one-night phenomenon but the inauguration of a continuous flow of miracles, a daily rhythm of divine intervention, whispers of guidance, and streams of protection that will carry you forward long after this night has passed. Each day henceforth will carry echoes of this encounter, and each moment will bear the imprint of heaven's touch, reminding you that what began tonight is not to end but to increase, like a river that grows deeper and wider as it flows. Archangel Michael's plea is not only for tonight but for the continuity of your walk, that you do not treat this as an isolated experience but as the opening of a new chapter, a lifelong subscription to divine conversation and miraculous flow. He urges you to stay attuned, to guard your connection, to prioritize the voice of heaven above the noise of earth, for it is in this consistency that the stream of miracles remains unbroken. This is why readiness must become a lifestyle, not just a momentary preparation. The heart that remains open continually drinks from the well of divine clarity, continually sees the signs, continually discerns the stirrings, and continually aligns with the movements of heaven. The nature of this shift will leave you marked in such a way that you cannot go back to who you once were. Even if you attempted to return to old patterns, they would no longer fit, for the seal of heaven will remain imprinted upon your spirit and your home. This mark is not a burden but a privilege, not a weight of heaviness but a crown of destiny, declaring that you have been chosen, visited, and forever aligned with divine timing. And though the battles over your household may not cease altogether, the awareness of Michael's sword, ever drawn and ever defending, will assure you that you are not vulnerable but covered, not abandoned but surrounded. Your response to these truths is the key that unlocks their manifestation. Faith is the bridge between promise and reality, and choice is the gatekeeper that determines whether you walk into protection or remain outside it. Thus, even tonight, as heaven moves and shakes, as truth rises and deception falls, as light pierces the shadows, your role is not to control but to choose faith over fear, readiness over distraction, perseverance over retreat, and alignment over compromise. In doing so, you align with the eternal flow of miracles, ensuring that what begins now continues without interruption, a stream that not only carries you but also overflows into your family, your household, and even those connected to your life. This is the divine design of the 1st of September 2025, that the night becomes not just a date on a calendar but a memorial stone in your journey, a moment you will look back on as the night everything shifted, the night heaven. And as the holy unfolding of this night on September 1st, 2025 deepens, the message carried by Archangel Michael does not fade but grows stronger, drawing your awareness into a realm where every heartbeat echoes with eternal significance and every breath testifies that heaven is near, transforming not just moments but destinies. You are reminded again and again that this is the urgency of the moment, that divine timing is flawless and that you are not standing here by chance but by appointment, woven into a tapestry of heaven's design that was written long before you even knew of this day. The urgency is not to frighten you but to align you, for distractions will attempt to pull your gaze toward temporary things, whispering lies that suggest you are missing out on what others chase. Yet in truth it is those distractions that are designed to make you miss your true inheritance, your divine assignment, and the sacred encounter set for you this very night. Michael's plea, spoken not in condemnation but in compassion, calls you to silence the noise and fix your gaze on heaven's light, for what you choose now will echo throughout the rest of your days. The encouragement to persevere is a reminder that storms do not define you, endurance does, that chosen ones are identified not by the absence of trial but by their refusal to walk away when the trial intensifies. In this perseverance, heaven's oil is poured over your spirit, an anointing that seals you, making your prayers stronger, your resolve firmer, and your awareness sharper. As the shift unfolds, the unveiling becomes clearer, for the spiritual revelation pierces through what was once hidden, bringing to the surface not only the lies that held you captive but also the promises that were waiting for release. This revelation is a sword that cuts both deception and despair, that dismantles what the enemy built and establishes what heaven always intended, turning every hidden tear into visible testimony, every unseen battle into open victory, every silent prayer into shouted fulfillment. It is in this atmosphere that you are not merely a bystander but a witness, invited to behold the hand of God taking what was meant for destruction and rewriting it into a testimony of glory. You are called to witness not only for yourself but for others, for your life becomes a living message that what heaven did in you can also be done for those around you. The call to witness is therefore also a call to courage, for fear is broken in the presence of divine nearness, replaced with the strength of clarity and the boldness of love, making you unshakable even when the world trembles. As this courage rises, the impact on your spirit intensifies, shaping your inner being into one who carries heaven's fragrance, whose words release peace, whose actions manifest compassion, and whose presence becomes an extension of divine presence. Your home, too, is transformed beyond recognition, not in its physical structure but in its atmosphere, as it becomes a sanctuary where heaven's nearness is felt, where prayers are not hindered but empowered, where every corner resounds with the memory of divine encounter, and where those who enter can sense that they have stepped into holy ground. What once was a place of ordinary living becomes a sacred altar consecrated by heaven's visitation, forever marked as the site of your encounter. And this marking does not fade but ushers you into the continuous flow of miracles, a river that does not dry up but grows stronger the more you remain connected. Each day that follows will carry the imprint of tonight's encounter, and each moment will be guided by the hand of heaven, ensuring protection, provision, and revelation. Staying connected to this flow means that what begins as a breakthrough becomes a lifestyle, that miracles are no longer sporadic interruptions but daily companions, that guidance is no longer occasional but continual, and that protection is not uncertain but assured. Michael's message is clear. Do not treat this as an isolated night but as the dawn of a new season, where every day is lived under the canopy of divine presence, where every challenge is met with heavenly assistance, and where every choice is guided by divine wisdom. The child of light who heeds this call will not stumble in darkness but will shine as a beacon for others, showing through their testimony that heaven is real, that angels war on behalf of the faithful, and that no force of darkness can withstand the presence of divine light. As the night presses on, you are invited deeper still, reminded that the veil between worlds is thinner than ever, that your prayers rise like fire and are answered swiftly, that your worship becomes a weapon, and that your faith is the anchor that holds you steady amidst the shaking. Michael's sword continues to guard, heaven's presence continues to fill, and your soul continues to align, until every part of you, spirit, mind, and body, is enveloped in the reality of this divine shift. And when dawn breaks, you will know beyond doubt that September 1st, 2025 was the night heaven arrived in your home, the night your destiny turned, the night your spirit was marked, and the night Archangel Michael's urgent message was not only heard but embraced, forever altering the path of your life. As the sacred night of September 1st, 2025 reaches its deepest unfolding, the weight of heaven's presence continues to pour forth like a river without end, saturating your spirit and consecrating your home as Archangel Michael's urgent message completes its course within you. What began as a call of the child of light has now become a transformation of your very identity, For the heavens did not simply speak to inform you but to reshape you, to call you out from the shadows of uncertainty and anchor you into the brilliance of divine alignment. Every word whispered into your heart tonight has been both a sword and a balm, cutting away the entanglements of fear and at the same time healing the wounds of delay, disappointment, and despair. This was not a message meant for your mind alone, but one etched into the marrow of your being, a seal upon your soul that cannot be erased, for once the light touches the depths of your darkness, nothing can return to its former state. You are now a carrier of revelation, a witness of divine shift, a living testimony that what heaven promises, heaven performs, and this night is the undeniable proof. Michael's sword has been raised and wielded on your behalf, unseen battles have been fought and won over your household, and though you may never fully grasp the magnitude of what was averted in the spiritual realms, you will walk in the fruit of victory secured tonight. The chains of fear that once held you back are shattered, the shadows that once whispered lies into your ears have fled, and the atmosphere around you has been sanctified by angelic presence and heavenly fire. From this night onward, the promise of victory and protection is not a hope but a reality, for you have entered into covenant alignment with heaven's shield, and no weapon formed against you can prosper when you remain within this covering. Your role, as always, is choice, the daily choosing of light over darkness, of faith over fear, of perseverance over apathy, for every day beyond this night becomes an extension of what was birthed in this divine encounter. The nature of the shock, though startling, has already served its purpose, breaking what needed to be broken, surfacing what needed to be revealed, and marking you with an identity not defined by scars but by strength, by testimony, by the undeniable evidence that heaven visited you. Your home, once ordinary, has now been declared a spiritual altar, a dwelling place infused with prayers that rise like incense, with tears that have become seeds of miracles, and with secrets that are now cleansed by divine light. This altar will stand as a reminder to you and to generations after you that heaven came near, that angels defended, and that light triumphed. The ongoing divine conversation will not end here, for you have now entered into a rhythm of heaven's voice, a flow of daily messages, nudges, dreams, revelations, and miracles that will not cease as long as you remain connected, as long as you continue to listen, and as long as you honor the altar that has been consecrated within your heart and home. And as you continue, you will find that heaven's presence will not be a rare event but a constant companion, a nearness that thickens the atmosphere of your daily life, a peace that wraps you like a garment, a strength that steadies your hands, and a clarity that guides your steps. The arrival of heaven's presence tonight was only the beginning, for what you felt in this hour will ripple outward into every decision, every relationship, every pursuit, and every corner of your destiny, ensuring that you are never the same again. After tonight, your life is marked by encounter, marked by testimony, marked by heaven's signature etched across your story. This mark is not one you hide but one you carry proudly, a testimony that others will see, a light that others will follow, a flame that others will catch. This is the aftermath of a marked life, that what heaven does in you becomes a beacon for others to find their way into the same light. And in this aftermath, urgency remains, for the enemy does not give up easily, and distractions will still attempt to lure you away from your path. Yet heaven's timing is perfect, and if you remain steadfast, your every step will continue to be aligned with divine appointments. Encouragement flows once more. Persevere, for the oil has sealed you, the fire has purified you, and the light has claimed you. Let nothing pull you away from daily connection. Let no trial convince you to quit. Let no deception blind you again, for what you carry now is too precious to be surrendered. The spiritual shift has been completed, the revelation has been unveiled, and what was once hidden is now exposed, defeated, and dismantled by heavenly power. Lies have fallen, enemies have scattered, and truth stands tall in your life, unshakable, immovable, eternal. You are called not just to witness this victory but to testify of it, to let others know that what heaven did for you can also be done for them, to let your story become the seed of someone else's breakthrough, to shine the light that was given to you into the darkness of another's path. Fear has no hold on you now, for it has been replaced by clarity, by strength, by courage, and by faith that burns brighter than ever before. Your spirit is no longer timid but bold, your home no longer fragile but fortified, your life no longer ordinary but extraordinary, for it has been touched, consecrated, and transformed by the divine presence that has arrived. And as you move forward, the continuous flow of miracles will carry you, not sporadically but consistently, ensuring that you remain protected, provided for, and guided. Each day will unveil new mercies, each step will reveal new strength, each prayer will birth new testimonies, and each moment will remind you of the sacred shift that began on this very night. The river will not run dry, the flow will not cease, for heaven is committed to you as long as you remain committed to heaven. And so, the message concludes, not with an end but with a beginning, for this is not the closing of a chapter but the opening of an entirely new book in your life story, one authored by the divine hand, one shielded by angelic guardianship, and one destined for glory. The 1st of September 2025 will forever be remembered as the night of divine shift, the night of heavenly visitation, the night Archangel Michael's urgent plea was not only spoken but embraced, and the night your destiny was forever marked with light. Now, as you carry this message into your days, let your heart remain aligned, your home remain consecrated, and your testimony remain alive, for the world needs what you have received. And if your spirit has been stirred, if your heart has been awakened, if your life has been touched by this divine encounter, I invite you to stay connected not only in prayer but also in fellowship, learning, and growth. Join us in continuing this journey through Archangel Inspire, where every message is crafted to remind you of heaven's nearness, to keep your spirit aligned with light, and to encourage you in times of shaking. By subscribing to Archangel Inspire on YouTube, you are not simply clicking a button, you are choosing to remain in a stream of ongoing revelation, encouragement, and spiritual empowerment that will sustain you for the days ahead. Stay connected, stay inspired, stay covered, for your journey has only just begun, and heaven's voice will continue to guide you if you are willing to listen.